Ugh. Hello! So, 2 years and 4 days ago, I stepped off a plane in the US for the first time in a year, and this was after my exchange year, after the best year of my life was over. That day was stressful and overwhelming, and so were the months around it, both before and after it. So I wanted to make a video addressing coming home from exchange, how it is, what things to do, what things not to do. And I tried to do this. I tried to film one a couple days ago, and it ended up this rambling mess of words. It was just confusing, and I was trying to get all my thoughts out, and it didn't work very well because my mind still hasn't 100% made sense of that time because it was a lot. It's just so unlike anything else I've experienced. For this video, I've tried to put in a little bit more structure and hopefully make it actually make sense. So today I have 5 things to tell you about coming home from exchange. Number 1, it gets better. Coming home, and I say home pretty loosely because we both know how loose that term is and how sometimes it applies, sometimes it doesn't. For me, my house did not feel like home when I came back. So coming home is so emotional and crazy, and it's a whirlwind of seeing people you haven't seen in a year and seeing things that aren't familiar to you anymore, even though you grew up with them. Why aren't they familiar? And that's weird. It can all be extremely overwhelming, especially when all you're doing while trying to take in these new things, or not so new, but new at the same time, when all you're doing is wanting to go back to your host country. Reverse culture shock is definitely a thing, and other people don't get that, which I'm going to address a little bit later. But so coming back into your home country, people aren't understanding, like they were when you went to your host country, that this culture seems foreign. They're wondering how you're feeling being back home, and it doesn't feel like you're back home. That's really tough, I get it. It was almost impossible for me, but it does get better. Just like the culture shock wore off after you had spent a few months in your host country, so too will it wear off now. You will get used to your home country again. I promise. Number 2. At the same time, nothing will ever be the same again. You can't expect it to be the same. You're a brand new person, so you're not just going to quietly fit back into your old life. But even though this prospect is daunting, don't let it scare you. Embrace this just like you embraced all the new experiences you had in your host country. There's so much opportunity here. If you don't remain close with your old friends after having changed so much, don't think of that as an awful lost friendship. Maybe it is, and I'm sorry, that sucks, but think of it as a door into something new. New friendships with new people who will affect you just as much as your old friends could have. Maybe even more. My friends that I've made since I got back are amazing. My best friends in the world. And I wouldn't have met them if I had just gone back to doing the same thing I had done when I came home. So throw yourself into this new life, or your new old life. I don't really know how to describe it. Throw yourself into it and make the most of it, just like you did on your exchange. Make the most of every day of your life. Since I got back, I'd say 99% of the friends I've made have been international. And I don't think that would have happened if I hadn't been on exchange. I realized that I couldn't just fit into this all-American life that I had grown up with. I do realize that meeting lots of international people can be difficult for some exchange students coming home because they just don't have the people near them. But there is always a way to find someone. I personally went to boarding school, a very international boarding school, 45% international, which was incredible. And I loved continuing to have that feeling that I had on exchange, where I felt that my mind was constantly being stretched and affected by new perspectives. And I'm so thankful that I had that experience. I know that's not possible for everyone, but there are ways to involve yourself with the international community in your hometown without even leaving. You can become a volunteer for your exchange organization, maybe host an exchange student. I definitely would have done that if I had remained living in my house. You can travel whatever chance you have. I don't really have a lot of money for travel. It's tough when I'm 18 years old and I don't have a job. I have babysitting. That obviously cannot sustain my love for travel, and with the price of plane tickets, that's impossible. However, I have sought out opportunities for this. I went on an amazing, eye-opening trip to Peru, which was mostly funded by my school. I have gone on road trips. I've even just gone to New York City, which was close to where I was living and seems pretty American, yeah, but there is so much to explore and so many interesting, diverse people there. So I took that opportunity. Without even leaving your house, you can find Facebook groups for exchange students, for international students, for expats living in your country who might be young and might want to meet up with someone who has international perspectives and international curiosity like you do. And other than that, you can just join groups of people around the world. I've seen lots of posts about WhatsApp groups of international students who are young, between 15 and 20, so you can join these to talk to people. You can Skype people. There's so much you can do to keep in contact with the whole world and keep meeting new people. So go into coming home with an open mind. Don't expect to be the same person you were when you left, and make the most of that. Number 3, you have to have a few laughs at coming home. To me, when I came home, everything in the US seemed weird, foreign, crazy, stupid sometimes. I thought the cars were too big, there were too many billboards, the portions were insane, the light switches were wrong, the doorknobs were too low, there was too much water in the toilet. Little things like this that were new to you and funny to you when you went to your host country that you might have had a few laughs at over there. When you come home, you have to be willing to do the same thing. Don't think, oh, the cars are too big in this country, that's such a waste of gas. Well, yeah, that's kind of true. Think instead, oh, how much space they have for people, how great they are for road trips. I don't know, just think of things as funny. There were tons of things that I thought were funny when I came back, and I had to get used to them just like I got used to them in my host country. So find these funny things and hopefully they'll brighten your spirits a little bit. Number 4, okay. This is just going to happen. I'm sorry, there's no way around it. People are going to ask you questions that make you want to scream. There are so many. I'm not even going to list examples, but we know the kinds of questions they're going to ask. It's awful. An exchange year was not a trip or a vacation. It was the best, most important year of your life. You know that. I know that. But the majority of people you come across are not going to understand that. I realize that these people seem kind of stupid and they seem closed-minded. They seem unwilling to accept new perspectives. But I've come to realize that that's just because that's all they know. That's all they've ever known. And yes, you can begrudge them for not having actively sought out more international experiences, more international friendships, more perspectives to increase their knowledge of the world. Have some patience with them. Take this opportunity to educate people about your host country, about your host language, about your time abroad, about the world in general, and how wonderful and diverse and amazing and beautiful the world is. And don't let their questions get to you. I'm tired. Number 5, keep in touch with everyone you met on your exchange. After all, after dealing with all those questions, you're gonna need someone to complain with. So call up your exchange student friends on Skype. They're dealing with the exact same thing that you are right now. You'll miss them so much. I still miss them. I still miss the fun, carefree days we had together in Copenhagen where we didn't have to worry about school, we didn't have to worry about a job. All we were focusing on was living in the moment, experiencing as much as we possibly could. I miss that so much. But like I said, it gets better. And with the technology that we have, you can keep in touch with them so easily. You can Skype them, you can talk to them on WhatsApp, you can see their photos on Facebook and Instagram. I actually have a WhatsApp group with a few of my closest exchange student friends, and we still talk on there. Not every day. You can't expect to talk to people every day. Everyone is so busy, especially with the nature of exchange students, how we're always seeking out something new to do. But that's okay. Every couple weeks is also okay, and don't worry about it. If If you can't talk to someone as often as you would like, it's hard for both of you. You both miss each other. But believe that you will see each other again in the future. And in the meantime, keep up with each other. Skype with each other. Maybe set a goal. Let's Skype at least once a month and stick to it. You and the exchange students who were by your side when you were living abroad have shared such an amazing experience. You have memories and jokes and thoughts that a lot of people can't understand. So don't let that go. Keep up with them. With that being said, your host family and your friends from your host country are also very important. They're your friends and family. Don't lose touch with them. Not only is it wonderful to hear about their lives, but it's also a great chance to practice your host language. I still keep up with Danish. It's not the same as it was while I was in Denmark, but it's still very good because I do things like read Danish books, listen to Danish music, watch Danish TV, and Skype with Danish people. And that helps immensely. Just talking and listening is very important if you want to maintain a language. Also, if you keep in touch with everyone, that means you'll have no shortage of couches to crash on when you finally go visit your host country. So that's that. Coming home from exchange is one of the hardest times of your life. But like I said, it does get better. Don't fall into a depression because of it. Make the most of your time experiencing your home country like a stranger, because that lets you see a lot of things about the culture that you may have never noticed had you not left and come back and experience that reverse culture shock. Remember, there are tons of other people out there going through the same thing as you are, so don't lose touch with your exchange student friends. Talk to people, make new memories. Don't live in the past, live in the present. And this is the most cliche quote. I think every exchange student has heard this, has posted it as their caption on a Facebook profile picture, has posted it on Twitter or on Instagram, but it still is a good quote to keep in mind and to live by. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. I hope you enjoyed that video and that it helped at least a couple exchange students feel at least a little bit better. If you did like it, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will definitely be making more travel and exchange videos in the future because that is a very important part of my life. Also, check out my new vlogging channel, which I'll link in the description. I will be vlogging hopefully every day throughout the month of August. There's already one video on there, but that channel will be building, and subscribe to that if you are interested in hearing about my life. I like watching vlogs. I think they're kind of calming, so do that. I hope to see you next week. Bye! What am I talking about?